So now what we're going to do, Paul, is I'm just going to listen to some information about the airport, okay, and find out what weather it is, what runway we're going to be using. So I'm just going to put it on, turn that up.
I'm not getting middle.
Sorry? I can hear you.
No, I'm not hearing me. I normally get me.
10, surface wind 160, 5 knots.
Have you turned the volume up on the side? Make sure it's working.
Got that.
Is it working now?
Got it, yeah.
Just make sure that microphone a little bit closer to your lips as well.
Yeah.
1,200 feet scattered, 2,600 feet temperature, plus 15, dew point, plus 10, QNH 1014, VDME is unserviceable. Blackpool information, acknowledge receipt of information, X-ray, time 1050, runway in use 10, surface wind 160, 5 knots, varying between 110 and 220 degrees, visibility 25 kilometer, view 1002.
So now we've got some information about what runway we're using, what the temperature is, what the wind's doing, okay? And we've got a QNH of 1014, so we can set up in this box here. We've got little millibars, can you see the outside? We can just turn this knob now until it goes to 1014. So there's the 1014, okay? Don't worry about speaking to our traffic control, I'll do that for us today, okay, Paul? So I'll just get rid of that. Blackpool Tower, good afternoon. This is Golf Bravo, Romeo Bravo, Whiskey outside A&T with information, X-ray and QNH 1014 requesting taxi.
Golf Foxtrot Mike, call me 10 right turn out, clear for takeoff, service wind variable at 5 knots.
Take off with the right turn out, Foxtrot Mike.
Golf Bravo, Romeo Bravo, skip up hello, X-rays QNH 104, taxi on point Alpha 3 Alpha, cross runway 13.
Taxi to the holding point Alpha 3 via Alpha crossing runway 13, Golf Bravo, Whiskey. So he's just given us a taxiway to clearance now.
X-ray score.
We're going the opposite way, so yeah, we're just down here over at A&T, so we're going to come out of here. We're going to do a right-hand turn down this taxiway Alpha, crossing that runway 13 to this holding point Alpha 3. Okay, Paul?
Yeah, because last time we went the opposite way, so we're looking up overland down to number 2 for departure.
So the first thing that we're going to do, Paul, is we're going to close the hole, okay, so we don't jump forward anywhere, and then we're going to release the parking brake. Okay. We're just going to start to put the power back in, and the aircraft should start to move away. So we're just looking out the window, and you can see that it starts to move away. So we're not going to bump the wings onto anything. That's it. And we're just going to start to put this yellow taxi line, that's it, Paul. So once I'm just clear of these obstacles, I'm just going to test my brakes by gently applying the top brakes together. And you can see the everything's gently coming to a stop. So I'll just put a bit of power on. I'd like you to just test your brakes for me, Paul. So at your own time, over there. So I'll just cut the power. That's it. Together, and it stops. Okay, Paul? Fantastic. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and keep this taxi line running through the centre of the aircraft, okay? So we want it going along the nose wheel, through the seats, out through the tail bit, and that is about the middle position, okay? Believe it or not.
So I'm looking slightly to the right then.
Yeah, it's kind of offset slightly to you, probably.
X-rays going to QNH is correct.
Because Russ was saying, do you drive a manual or an automatic? Because the right foot will be heavier. Because we taxied back in this way because we landed from the land.
So if you want to let go of the pedals, just using the bottom ones, which controls the other, just try to keep the airplane on that line now, as straight as you can get it. If it starts to wander off to one side there, just put the opposite pedal in and bring it back to on the centre line.
Hey, then I thought it was going to...
It is. What is it, 15 degrees at the moment?
Yeah.
And it's 12:15, so maybe a little bit hotter maybe. So just slightly, that's it, just a little bit to the left just to come back on and correct it. So you can clearly see here now we've got Alpha 3 which we've been told to hold that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the power off nice and early to start us slowing down. And then we're just going to reposition the aircraft into it. So I just have control a second, Paul, thank you. So I'm just slowing it down on the brakes. And we're just putting the nose of the aeroplane slightly into wind. There we go, straightening the pedals out, and then to put the parking brake on, we pull it up, put the finger on the button, and then let go. And then we reset the power. So we're going to go back towards the checklist now. So, power checks, location. The aircraft is positioned into wind and clear all round of any taxiway obstructions. Yeah. Parking brake is on, and it's set to 1,200 RPM. Yeah. So I need to change the fuel to the forward tank now, which is the left-hand tank. So that is the knob. So make sure it goes in and it clicks. That's it. And, yep, double confirmed. Oops. Last time. Make sure it's in. So we're now on the left-hand tank, which is the forward of the two tanks. So we're going to make sure the T's and P's are in the green, which they are, and we're going to set 2,000 RPM. So we're just covering the brakes again, because we're going to put the power on, and we're just going to slowly push the throttle forward until we set it to 2,000 RPM. So there's the 2,000 RPM set. So going back to the checklist, it says apply the carburetor heat, and there should be a max drop of 75 RPM. So if you want to put the carburetor heat on, watch it drop. So there you go, there's the drop of about 75 RPM. And if you return it back to the car position, and it recovers back to its original value. So we're going to check the magnetos now. So we're going to check the left and right in turn, and we're looking for a drop of about 175. So if you want to hold the key and just do one click to the left, see how it drops? Yep. And if you put it back to the both, it goes back to its original value. So we're going to do 2 clicks this time to go to the other one. And again, there's the drop, and back to both. Good. Yep. Okay. So amateur is still charging, and the gyro is still sucking. There we go. So we're going to retard the throttle now back to idle. Make sure the engine idles properly and doesn't cut out. There we go. And then we're going to reset it back to 1200 RPM.
Estimated 180 degrees, 6 knots.
There you go. So we can turn the page on the checklist now. So, trimmer is set for takeoff. So if we just look down here at the trim wheel, we're making sure that we have it in the neutral takeoff position, which it is. We can tighten the throttle friction nut, so there you go, that's finger tight. The mixture is fully rich. Magneto, we double check to make sure it is in the both position, which it is. We don't need the pitot heat today, and we're going to check that the primer is in and locked before we take off. So it is, it's confirmed, it's locked. We're going to put the fuel pump on, so if you want to just click that one up for me, Paul, that's it, the fuel pump on, fantastic. We don't need the flap for takeoff, but we're going to make sure the instruments and everything are set up before we take off. So on the compass, if we look down here, we get that to be 135, so we're just going to synchronise it with this direction. So we push this little button in here and we rotate it until we have 135 set. So the two now are both agreeing with each other. Yep. And we've got a QNH of 1014, and that's set as well. Okay, Paul? So harnesses and hatches are all fast and secure.
Sea level then?
That is us above sea level now, which is about
radar 119.
34 feet it should be. That's showing about 40 feet, so carburetor heat is set to cold, and controls again, we just check again to make sure we have full and free rein on the controls, and the transponder, he's not given us a score yet. So that's us done with the pre-takeoff checks all completed. So what we do is we just close the throttle to stop the airplane jumping forward, and then we release the brake. And then we're just going to line the airplane up towards the holding point, but we're not going to go over that holding point. We've not been cleared onto the runway, so we mustn't cross that holding point. There we go. And I'm just going to re-put the parking brake on for a moment, and reset to 1200 RPM. So I'm just going to close this little window, because it gets very drafty. It gets very drafty with the window open. And we're going to do the takeoff together, Paul, okay? So what I'd like you to do is put your hands lightly on the controls for me. Okay, you don't need to grip it finger tight. It's very light fingers and thumb, that's all that's required, okay? So I'm going to start to put the power fully forward, okay? Do you want to keep it straight on the runway? Do you want me to do it? Yeah. So it's nice, gentle movements to keep us on the centre line of the runway, okay? Once it starts to go to about 65, we're just going to gradually start pulling back, okay?
Yeah, let's just get some drafters.
Alright, matey, I'll do the radio call for us. Golf Bravo Whiskey's holding at Alpha 3, ready for departure.
Golf Bravo Whiskey via Alpha 3, line up runway 10, squawk 0450 with altitude.
Squawking 0450 via Alpha 3, line up runway 10, Golf Bravo Whiskey. So he's asked us to squawk that, so 0450. Okay, we can go on the runway now. So, just checking nobody's coming in on top of us. That's all clear, so...
Golf Bravo Whiskey, left turn out, runway 10, clear for takeoff, surface winds 180, 4 knots estimated.
Clear takeoff runway 10, Golf Bravo Whiskey. So just follow us round on the centre line.
Far better today.
Sorry?
Far better today. It was obviously that head not turned up on headphone.
Probably his as well, yeah. Are you ready, Paul? Yeah. He's cleared us to take off, so we can start to put the power in now. Very little wind today. So as I put the power in, we're just keeping it straight down the runway. So that's it, and we just take a bit of weight off the nose wheel. So as we're going down the runway, power is set, T's and P's are all good, and the airspeed is coming alive. So we can start to pull back. Start pulling back, that's it. Thank you very much. We're just going to come a little bit to the right because we've just... That's it. And we're just climbing the airplane away from the ground. So we're just going to the left a little bit. So we like to keep the ball in the middle, so press the right one to keep the ball in the middle. That's it, Paul. So we're going to start a very gentle turn to the left now, so just have a little look out to the left to make sure there's nobody to bump into, and we're just going to start a very, very gradual turn to the left. That's it, that's all that's required, Paul. From this line, isn't it?
Yeah, we were talking about it being bumpy last time. Russ was saying it's the heat coming off Tesco. Just that you get heat coming off the building.
Kind of warms it up, the heat on the ground. It was quite smooth this morning, so it should be quite alright again now.
A friend of mine was saying it's similar when you go over a field and there's the plastic on the field again, you get the heat.
Can I just get it over? Thank you very much. Just make sure it's... There we go.
Golf Oscar Whiskey, Fox Sierra, Weevil 3, John.
So the ball's just coming out, so you need to press a bit of right rudder to put the ball back in the middle. So press the right pedal forward. That's it.
East of Tower. QFE 1012.
So 1-2, and for Eastern Car for right 82, Fox Sierra.
So we're just going to climb a little bit higher, Paul. We're going to go up to about 1,500 feet just to stay out of the clouds. So just roll it to the right a bit, that's it. So there's the 1,500 feet, so we can gradually start to lower the nose now, and we allow the airspeed to build back up. That's it, we just allow the airspeed to build up. Now with your right hand, put the right hand on the throttle, and very, very slowly start to pull it back to 2,200 RPM.
Golf Bravo Whiskey, contact radar 119.150.
Contact radar 119.155, Golf Bravo Whiskey.
Skip any mid-nose or apical.
That's it, okay, I just have control for 1 second to make sure everything's all nicely in trim for us, Paul. There we go. Blackpool radar, this is Golf Bravo Romeo Bravo Whiskey, departing the zone to the north for basic service.
Golf Bravo Romeo Whiskey, Blackpool Tyler, basic service.
Basic service, Golf Bravo Whiskey. Okay, Paul, so we're going to have a little practice now at re-trimming, okay? Yep. So it's just a little bit of revision of what you did in the previous lesson with Russell. So I'm going to upset the trim, and what I'd like you to do, I'd like you to put it back to the datum attitude. So the datum attitude, if you put your thumb roughly on the bonnet, you can see the horizon, that is roughly about a thumb up, okay? And it's also parallel with it as well. So if I say recover it back to the datum attitude, I'd like you to put the aeroplane nose where it is now. Okay, so I'm just going to upset the trim for us, Paul, and when I tell you to recover back to the datum attitude, I'd like you to, let go of the control a second. I'm just going to upset it. There we go, and what I'd like you to do is put the aircraft back to the datum attitude. So select the datum attitude first with your left hand, okay, and hold it there. Okay, let everything settle down and stabilise. Now, are you pulling back or are you pushing forward? You're pushing forward, so if you're pushing forward, wind the trim wheel forward until the force becomes 0 on your left hand. Remember, the trim wheel is only to remove the force, it's not to change the pitch.
Echo beam inskip on the fuel inside. Element Echo Roger, there is just the traffic passing.
So once you're happy, Paul, just let your hands off the controls very gently, just to see if it holds in that position.
Copy for the traffic not inside and...
I'm going to upset it again, Paul. Live control. So I'm just going to upset it again for us.
Covering for runway 28, still like the power.
And I'd like you to record me back to the datum attitude. So select it first with your hand. That's it. Hold it. And once you hold it there, then you can trim to remove the force. So I should imagine you're pushing forward again. Yeah. So pushing forward, winding forward until it becomes no force on your left hand. And that's it, just a gentle, fantastic. Alright, Paul. So you've got that, matey. Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, it was Russ's thing about, you know, we'll send it into a dive. He says, we'll do it over the cockle pickers rather than houses.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So we're just going to go over to the fields to the right. See those two wind farms? Yeah. We're just going to start a gentle turn to the right. So good look out before we do the turn. That's it. And now you can start to do the turn to the right for me.
Pretty much over the shard then.
Yeah, we're over the wire at the minute. So it's quite smooth today, the airflow. It's quite smooth. It's not bumpy at all today, which is quite nice.
Gonna get me bearings now because not being from Blackpool.
So there's the wind farm. We can just start to roll the wings back level, and fantastic. So I'm just going to show you now what we described on the whiteboard, okay? We're going to look at the throttle, which is this instrument down here, okay? When I push it forward, obviously the air and the fuel increase into the engine. That increases the engine RPM power, causes the propeller to spin faster, and we get more thrust, okay? So watch what happens. We said when we increase it, we're going to increase the nose up couple, and we said because of the slipstream, it's going to cause it to yaw to left. So in fact, we'll do it the opposite way. I'll show you the descent first because it works a little bit better. I'm just going to put the car beat hot on first. When I pull it back, we reduce the nose and we reduce the slipstream. So tell me which way the nose goes and which way it drops.
Dropping to the right, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to the right and it's dropped, hasn't it, Chad, as we said. Okay, I'm just going to put us back in the datum attitude. I'm going to increase power now and tell me which way it goes.
Yep, and immediately.
You can quite easily say it goes up and goes to the right. Good. So what I told you on the whiteboard was correct and I was lying to you. Alright, fantastic. So there's the speed stabilised. We can reduce the power back now to the cruise power setting.
Normally you're looking at 2200.
Yeah, around 22, and here it holds it about 100 miles an hour, which is good. So we're just going to go back towards those wind farms a little bit, so we're just going to come right a little bit. And I'm going to let you practice that this time, okay, Paul? So we're going to start with reducing the power first. So that's it. Pointing towards the hills as well, that's fantastic. So before we reduce the power, we're going to put the car beat hot. So we just put the car beat hot for me, please, Paul. Thank you very much.
About 10-15 seconds.
It's okay, we're going to leave it hot while we reduce the power, okay? So put your right hand on the throttle for me and start to reduce the power back to idle. Just let the nose go, and which way is it dropping and which way is it going? Right, and it's dropping, yeah. Okay, so we're just going to put the wings level and pull it back to the datum attitude in a minute. Now what I'd like you to do, Paul, is slowly push it all the way to full forward and tell me which way the nose goes.
Feel it straight away, don't you?
Yep, you can feel it go up, yeah, you can feel it kind of go to the left as well. Alright, matey?
Yeah.
So I'm just proving what we did. Right, what I'm going to get you to do now is I'm going to get you to do a little exercise. Alright, Paul? We're going to change the throttle, but this time what I'd like you to do is keep the nose of the aeroplane straight. Right. So we know when we reduced the power, it wanted to drop and go to the right. So we're going to stop that this time, Paul. So we need to pull back a little bit, and we need a little bit of left rudder. So watch what happens. I'm going to do it first. Okay, I'm going to keep the nose where it is. So we know it's going to go down and to the right. So as I'm reducing the power, I'm pulling back slightly, and I'm putting a bit of left rudder. Can you see how it's not doing it this time?
Yeah.
And I'm going to go the other way now. So I'm going to push it all the way forward. It wants to go up and to the left. So as it wants to go up, I'm going to start pushing forward. And I'm going to put a bit of right rudder. Can you see how it's not done it this time?
Yeah.
And we've kept it kind of uniformly straight. So what I'm going to do, Paul, is I want you to do that for me as well. So I'm just going to make sure the airplane is nice and trim. That's what it is. And if you just want to turn me in that kind of direction for the moment, please, Paul. I'll just open a bit of the vents because it gets a little bit warm, doesn't it? There we go. That bird of prey there.
He's a bit near.
Okay, so in your own time, Paul, just put the carburetor heat for me, and I'd like you to reduce the power, but keep the nose where it is. So we know it's going to drop, and we know it's going to go to the right. So we need to start to pull back gradually, and a little bit of left. That's it. That's it. Fantastic. So keep pulling back to keep the nose up a bit. Fantastic. Now slowly start to push it forward for me, Paul. And as the nose wants to go up to the left, we need to start pushing forward, and a bit of right rudder to keep it straight. So keep the ball in the middle as well, Paul. That's it. Keep the wings level all the way to full. That's it. Fantastic, Paul. Well done, mate. Well done. So you can clearly see the relationship. Whenever we change the throttle, we might need to change the rudder a little bit as well, okay? Just put it at 22 for me, and we're just fantastic. So we're going to look now at deploying the flaps, and this is the flap lever in the airplane down here. Okay, so we're going to just start to deploy the flaps first. So the first thing that we're going to check before we deploy the flaps is we're going to make sure that we're in the white arc. Remember, we want to make sure we're in the flap extension speed. So there's the beginning of the white arc, and we're in the white arc. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one stage of flapping. There you go, and I'm just going to retrim.
Golf XXL, you'll make take 9 years contact Blackpool.
Okay,
1 minute.
so again, speed's still in the white arc. Relax those feet a bit, Paul, that's it. Okay, there we go, that's the second stage. I'm going to retrim.
Almost feel it immediate up.
Yeah, you can feel it kind of put the flaps, and again I'm going to put the third one in, and again retrim. There you go. So nice and relaxed on that controls, nice and relaxed. So there you go, put a bit of power to help the speed a little bit. So there you go, there's all 3 stages of flap deployed, and we're going to look at raising them now. So the first thing that we need to check is make sure that we're within the green arc. So we've got safe speed, and we're above 300 feet, and we are level, so I can get rid of the drag flap for us. There we go, and just let the airplane accelerate. So before, that's it, and retrim. So now again, making sure that the speed is in the green arc limitation. We're above 300 feet. And we're not descending with a little bit of positive climb, which is good. We can remove the second stage. Let the aeroplane accelerate a bit, and trim again. And then again, checking, making sure it's in the green arc. Safe altitude above 300 feet. And we've got, there we go, a bit of a positive rate of climb again. And we can retract the flaps and retrim. Alright, Paul. So I'm going to get you to do exactly that what I just did. But I'd like to see Blackpool Tower. Yep. Just do a gentle turn while we put his ball to the right. Start with a good lookout first. That's it. And watch the nose doesn't come too high. That's it, Paul. So in your own time, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to repeat exactly what I did. I'd like you to start with the limitation check first, and then I'd like you to lower it in stages, remembering to retrim between every stage. Okay, so don't pull out your left hand when you do it. That's it. And retrim to hold the nose level.
Papa radar, Golf Bravo, November, Oscar Juliet, 3000.
Keep the ball in the middle. That's it. So the ball out to the right, press the right foot of the pedal.
Bravo, Papa Lima, jump to the hole.
Okay, and it's nice and trim.
For runway.
Make sure it's nice and trim first, yep. So if we let go, it stays there.
We've made changes now.
So again, starting with a limitation, Paul, so check the speed. Operation, we can put another stage of flapping.
Just Squawka 084.
Indication, that's it, we're in the second then. And if you want to retrim again the aeroplane.
Click Steve Block, I've been mounted 3,000
That's
feet
the one.
to
Keep the ball in the middle.
Procedural service, report
That's it, keep the ball in the middle, relax those feet a bit. That's it. And again, starting with a limitation check that's in the white arc.
Report.
Operation, we can put a final stage in, so click it again.
Procedural service, Q8.
Okay, indication, we're in the third then, and retrim to keep the aeroplane level, Paul. Yep, fantastic, Paul, well done now. Okay, we're just going to come right again, so we'll go another quick look to the right to make sure there's no other aeroplanes there, which there's not, so we can start a gradual turn to the right. So we'll just go out towards the water, northbound. That's it, Paul. So this time, Paul, we're going to look at retracting the flaps. Now remember, there were three things we had to check. So the first thing that we're going to check is make sure that the needle is in the green arc.
Yeah.
So we've got a green arc. Are we about 300 feet?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Are we not descending?
No.
No. So now you can put the finger on the button and just select one stage. That's it. Okay, so let the aeroplane settle down and retrim the aeroplane. That's it, make sure you don't pull the nose up. That's it. Good. So now we're going to look at removing the second stage, so speed checked. Safe altitude above the 300 feet. We're not descending. Very slight positive rate of climb. That's it. Good. And retrim. Fantastic. And then again, we're going to do the final stage. So speed check first. So yeah. So we're in the green arc. Safe altitude. And 0 / positive rate of climb, and that's the final one on retrim. Fantastic, Paul. So that's how we deploy and retract the flaps. Rocket science, this is it. Fantastic. So I'm just going to do a quick check on the aircraft system. So T's and P's are all still in the green, ammeter's still charging, gyro is still sucking, just make sure the carpet goes hot. And the DI and compass are synchronised, and we've got the correct QNH set. Fantastic. That cloud coming in. So we're just going to slightly come to below it, that's it. That's it, just coming below it and coming out of it. Fantastic. Okay, we're going to show you how to use the carburetor heat now. So this is the carburetor heat down here, and we've currently got 22 RPM set on the RPM indicator. So what we're going to do is we're going to check to see if there's any ice in the engine. So what we need to do, obviously there's cloud today and the temperature's only 15, so with a temperature drop we could get ice build up, can't we? So put the carburetor heater hot and look at the RPM, and you'll notice that it starts to drop. Can you see the drop in the RPM?
About one.
Yeah, about 75 to 100 RPM. So that's allowing the warm air from the exhaust to come back into the engine and to melt any ice that's from. So let's look at it. Let's see if it starts to melt any ice. If it starts to melt any ice, the gap would get bigger and we'd start to get an increase in power, wouldn't we? Yeah. It doesn't look like it's changing, does it? It looks like it's staying pretty much where it is. So return the carburetor heat to cold now. It's been about 20 seconds. And can you see how it returned to its original value of 2200 RPM? If there was any ice present, when we put it back, obviously we'd get like a bigger increase in the open the gap for it. It could have increased more, couldn't it? And obviously that would tell us that there's ice present, and we'd repeat it again until it went back to its original value. Okay, Paul? Fantastic. So what we're going to do now is we're going to head back towards the airport. So if you can tell me where Blackpool Tower is, well, Fleetwood's over that way. So if you want to turn the airplane left towards Fleet, having a good look out as we turn to make sure there's no aircraft to bump into.
I've never seen the seat that was taken off that way, and you've never seen any of them.
So what we're going to do this time, there's Fleetwood, so we know Blackpool's going to be further to the south, so we're going to head towards Fleetwood and then we're going to go back down the coast towards Blackpool, okay Paul? So that's looking at all the auxiliary controls. I'll show you the mixture when we get underground. So that's it, we'll just head towards Fleetwood. Have you got your checklist on, so can we just get the checklist? It's on the back seat, there we go, I've got it. Okay, I'm going to show you something now called a Freeder check. If I can find it on the checklist, there we go, a cruise check or a Freeder check. So from time to time when we've been flying for say about 10 minutes or 15 minutes, we're just going to start to make sure that the aeroplane's in a healthy condition. And we call it the Freeder check because that's what it abbreviates to. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to check the fuel. So we still have fuel pressure and we're checking the gauges which are correct. Now we took off on the left hand tank and we had 2 hours in the left hand tank and 1 hour 30 in the right. We've been flying now for about 20 minutes. So we must have 1 hour 40 in the left and 1 hour 30 in that one. So 3 hours 10 total. Right. Yep, fantastic. Radio nav aids. Well, we're currently speaking to Blackpool radar at the minute on the frequency of 119.95, and we've got the tower standard in standby, 118.4, which is the next person we're going to go. So we've already selected it ready to flip over. We're also squawking 0450 for Blackpool air traffic control. Engine. T's and P's in the green, so we have a little look down there at the temperatures and pressures, and can you see they're also in the green arcs? So we still have oil pressure, we still have fuel pressure, and we still have oil temperature, which is good. People always forget these ones, but we also check the ammeter's still charging, and we'll just check down there to make sure that the gyro, which runs some of these instruments down here, is still working.
Roger, ready for the procedure.
So the next thing we're going to also check is people always set the car beat. So I'll show you how to do the car beat. So note the RPM, apply it to hot, and there's the drop. So let's just watch it for about 5 to 10 seconds to see if it starts to rise. Doesn't look like it's rising to me. So if we put it back to cold position, it should go back to its upper one, that's it. And it returns back to its engine. So the direction indicator, we need to make sure that that compass and that direction is still synchronized. So we need to hold the wings level. If we don't hold it level, it starts to wander off. So I've got 240 on there. Yep, 240. So we just push that in and turn it till it goes to 240. I'm just going to make a quick call. I've got probably whiskey, Fleetwood for rejoin.
Contact Blackpool Tower for join 118.4 back.
Contact Tower 118.4, Golf Bravo Whiskey. Just let's turn to the coastline for me please, Paul, thank you very much. And while you're doing that, I'll just contact Blackpool Tower. Blackpool Tower, this is Golf Bravo Romeo Bravo Whiskey, Fleetwood for rejoin.
Golf Bravo Romeo Bravo Whiskey, Blackpool Tower. Confirm to rejoin?
Confirm to rejoin Golf Bravo Whiskey.
Golf Bravo Whiskey, Roger, report east of the tall tower, QFE 1012, runway 28.
Report east of the tall tower, QFE 1012, Golf Bravo Whiskey. So he wants us on the other runway, so the runway must say, so we're just going to come left slightly, Paul. Can you just see the bend in the river?
Yeah.
You just go in that direction in general, fine, so good look at.
Wind's changed,
wind's changed when we take off.
And there was me, I was going to go down the coast.
Past the direction. Just do a little gentle turn because we need to come position to the east of Blackpool Tower.
So again, just a flip to go to them as the line.
Yeah, it's just a little flip up here. I'll just reset that for us.
0450 with altitude.
That is it, apart from the altimeter, which I've just reset for the QFE for landing. Okay, Paul, so every 10 to 15 minutes, that'll do that, Paul. We go through this freedom check, and we start just going through making sure everything's okay.
Take off runway 28.
Okay, Paul, so homework. We love homework in this game. Just starting your own chair, just memorising what each item is and what you need to check. Alright, Paul. I'll just put that low again. Did you want to go past the tall tower to...
I've yet to see the seafront. But you miss it with a wing on that side, don't you?
Yeah, you do. I'm just going to gain this little bit of altitude back at Paul, that's it.
Golf Foxtrot India, contact Blackpool radar 119,
So keep a good lookout for any airplanes as we get closer to the airport.
And also watch out for the helicopters because they're about 600 or something.
The helimed sometimes comes under at 600 when it's been on dispatch call, yeah. So there we go. Hold the line 1500. So what we're going to do, Paul, is we're going to kind of head towards that little white pole sticking up. Can you just see over there? There's a gas tank there. There's a little white pole standing up here. That is where we need to be, Paul. So we're just going to point towards there, and your next told us to report east of the tall tower. Now, believe it or not, the tall tower is that tower there. Yeah. When I say Blackpool Tower and talk to them,
and they look out
the amount of passengers that think I'm talking to people in there. Fantastic, Paul.
Yeah, it's the only way to stop confusion. I mean, it's a great landmark, but it's really confusing when Blackpool Tower is Blackpool Tower.
Blackpool Tower is Blackpool Tower, and Blackpool Air Traffic Control Tower is something different. So you can just see the runway over there, Paul. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're eventually going to go in a southerly direction, and the runway is going to start to come in on the right-hand side. As it starts to come in on the centre line, we're just going to do a gentle turn to the right to line the aeroplane up on the centre line, okay? We're gradually going to start coming down and coming down and coming down. As we get closer to the runway, we're going to start to fly along the centre line towards the opposite end of the runway. And I'm going to start to close the throttle gently, and we're going to keep the nose wheel of the aeroplane up off the ground, and the aeroplane back wheels are just going to sit down on the runway. Okay, Paul? Any questions? No? Fantastic. Golf Bravo Whiskey is east of the tall tower.
Golf Bravo Whiskey, report right base runway 28.
Report right base 28, Golf Bravo Whiskey. So I'm just going to start a little descent now to get us down to circuit height. So I'm just going to take the power off, and the nose is just going to drop a little bit. Okay, Paul? Now you practiced it lowering the flaps, so we're going to put 2 stages of flapping now. So starting with the limitation, are we in the white arc?
In the white.
So would you like to put 1 stage of flapping for me? That's it, fantastic. And again, we're just going to retrim slightly, just to get the speed back. And again, limitation, operation, indication. So limitation, are we in the white arc? Yep, so 1 more stage, that's the operation, and that's the second click, so we know it's in the indication. I'm just going to raise the nose slightly just to slow the airspeed down a little. Fantastic. So you can see the runway just over there. Just relax that left hand a minute, because we're just going to lose a little bit of altitude. Alright, Paul. So I'm just going to do some pre-landing checks in my head. So brakes off, goes down, fuel pump and landing light can go on for landing. Seatbelts are securely fastened, and the seatbelts are in the upright position. Fantastic, that's set. Harness and hatches are all good for landing. Fantastic. So I'm just going to call now. Golf Bravo Whiskey is right base 28.
Golf Bravo Whiskey, report final runway 28, number 1.
Report final number 1, Golf Bravo Whiskey. So we're going to keep coming down in this direction until it starts to come in now, Paul. It's fun this flying, I like, isn't it? So there's the runway. We're just going to keep coming in, and when you're happy that we're going to go on the centre line, I want you to start a very gradual turn to the right, okay?
I always envisaged it further out before you started.
No, that's not bad, that. going to raise the nose a fraction just to let that speed slow down a tiny bit. That's it. Golf Bravo Whiskey's final swing.
Golf Bravo Whiskey runway 28, cleared land, surface wind 2707 knots.
Clear climb runway 28, Golf Bravo Whiskey. Now we're going to land halfway down. Can you see where that dark bit of tarmac runs out?
Yeah.
We're going to land down there, okay, port. So I'm just going to get the final stage of flapping for us, and I'm just going to take a bit of speed off for us to slow us down because we're coming a bit too quick. So can I just get the trim wheel please, Paul? Thank you. Raise the nose a little bit. That's it, we just need the speed to come back to about 80. That's it. So we're coming down. That's it, Paul. So we're keeping it on the centre line. And we're coming down nice and slow. If at any point I say out of control, just take your hands gradually off it, okay? So there we go, we're just going to start to fly, lift the nose a little bit and start to fly towards the end of the runway, that's it. Fly towards the end of the runway, hold it, hold it.
And the longer you go, the better you are.
There we go.
That's what Russ was saying, the longer you keep it in the air, he says...
Yeah, it just loses all the lift off the wings, it loses all the energy.
Golf Bravo Whiskey, vacate right, 31 and Alpha to ANT.
Very last one, isn't it?
Yep. 31 Alpha to ANT, Golf Bravo Whiskey. So yeah, we just missed this Delta intersection, and it's just the one past that. Fantastic, Paul, enjoy it?
There you go.
Right.
As Russ said, we're on the ground.
In one piece and the aeroplane's still here.
We've got the same amount of landings and takeoffs. Landings are control crashes.
So this is the intersection that we need to come off. So we're just going to start to pick up this yellow line here for me, Paul. So you need to start putting a bit of right rudder in. That's it. And I'm just going to apply the brakes for you just to slow us down. And now that we're off the runway, we can do our after landing checks. So I'll just do the after landing checks for you. That's it. Set to neutral. Fantastic. So if you want to go practicing again, we'll open that little window again because it'll get warm otherwise. That's it. So just keep us on this white line, please, Paul, using the rudder pedals, and eventually overhead you're going to see a yellow line.
Yeah.
And we just we're going to start to pick that up, and as we go back around, it's the number 2 that we need. And whenever it splits, we go to the left of the 2 splits.
I've got a friend who's press officer at Manchester Airport. She put a great picture on, because apparently once every now and again she has to be duty manager. She got this great picture of being in the car, and out the back window's the A380 behind her. I said, it's only wonder when he starts sounding the horn to try and overtake. I said, that's your problem. But it just literally filled the back window of the car.
Yeah.
You know.
One of those moments.
Nice, I think.
So there's the yellow line, Paul. So start to push the right rudder pedal in. You probably need to push it all the way to the floor. That's the one. Now as it starts to straighten back up, we're going to have to start removing that right rudder pressure off. That's it. So we're just slightly to the left of the centre line, so just put a little bit of right rudder in to correct it to come back onto the centre line. That's it, that's the middle. So we're just going to quickly check the brakes to make sure they work before we go on the apron. There we go, brakes work on my side. And just check yours gradually, that's it. And it's the number 2 that we need to come off. So just watch that grid, that little part, that the nose wheel doesn't go down it.
That's that.
Did he mention that?
Yeah, he says keep to the other side of the grid.
Yeah, we're obsessed with the grid and the prop. That's it, as it splits, come round to the left for me, please, Paul. And then obviously when it splits round again. Okay, Paul, I have control for just parking the airplane, thank you very much. I get a Nasbro for doing handbrake series one day. Okay, so we're just going to go back to the checklist for our shutdown checks now, okay? So I'm just going to go down to the shutdown. So the first thing is location, and the parking brake is on with the engine RPM reset to 1200 for 30 seconds. So we're going to check the magnetos for a dead cut. So there's the magnetos down there, so that's a one click.
Drop 75.
Yeah, so back to both. And then we're checking the other magneto, so it's 2 clicks. And again we get the drop, and when we return it back to the bath, it returns back to its original value. Fantastic. So we can turn the radios off now, so we'll just turn these off. So that's the volume and on buttons as well. For this one, the off is just press and hold it. And if you want to turn that one off, so it's turn the volume down and then eventually it'll click and it'll go off. Same with that one. And again with that one at the top, and then we go off.